In the struggle of armed conflict, victory is best achieved by stacking the odds in your favor. In the effort to constantly outdo each other, militaries around the world have innovated and invented some strange contraptions. We give you 5 of the strangest vehicles from 5 different categories that were built. Vespa 150 TAP. Representing motorbikes, the Vespa 150 TAP was an anti-tank scooter designed for use by French paratroopers. First introduced in 1956, the scooter was built by Ateliers de Construction de Motocycles et Automobiles, the licensed assembler of Vespa scooters in France. The scooters were equipped with a US-made M20 75mm recoilless rifle, capable of penetrating 100mm of armor out to its maximum range of 3.9 miles. Designed for airborne operations, the scooters would be dropped in pairs along with a 2-man team. One scooter carried the gun while the other carried the ammo. Without any sights, the gun was not designed to be fired from the scooter. Instead, it was designed to be mounted on an M1917 Browning machine gun tripod, which was also carried on the scooter. In an emergency, and ideally at close range, the gun could be fired while the scooter was moving. The scooters were cheap, costing only $0 at the time. 600 150 TAPs were built between 1956 and 1959. Kugelpanzer. Representing tanks, the Kugelpanzer translates literally to spherical tank. A derivative of the 1917 Treffes wagon, the Kugelpanzer was a German solution to the problem of crossing the open killing fields of no man's land. Following the adoption of Blitzkrieg and the evolution of maneuver warfare, the Germans abandoned the concept. Measuring 5 by 5.5 feet, the tank had a top speed of 8 km per hour via its 2 hemispherical wheels and was stabilized by a single rear wheel. Having only 5 mm of armor at its thickest point and carrying just one machine gun, the tank would not have fared well in World War II. The exact circumstances regarding the capture of the only surviving example remain unknown. It was captured in 1945 by the Soviets either in Manchuria after it was sent by the Germans to the Japanese, or at the Kumsdorf testing grounds where the Soviets also captured the Maus tank, ironically, the heaviest fully enclosed armored fighting vehicle ever built. The Kugelpanzer is on display at the Kubinka Tank Museum in Russia. BVX-CH-62. Representing rotary wing aircraft, the Boeing Vertol XCH-62 was an experimental aircraft built from the existing CH-47 Chinook heavy-lift helicopter. The Chinook's lift capacity of 28,800 pounds was dwarfed by the Soviet Mi-26 and Mi-12 helicopters, 44,000 pounds and 88,000 pounds respectively. In an effort to catch up to the Soviets, Boeing added a third engine to the Chinook, larger rotors, and converted its fuselage to a flying crane to create the XCH-62. These modifications allowed the helicopter to straddle heavier cargoes like armored vehicles while still carrying up to 12 troops in its slender fuselage. One example was built in 1974, but challenges in harnessing the torque of the 3 engines led to delays. Congress cut the program's funding the next year. The XCH-62 remains the largest helicopter ever built in a Western country. The prototype was displayed at the U.S. Army Aviation Museum at Fort Rucker, Alabama until it was scrapped in 2005. Bartini Beriev VVA-14. Representing fixed-wing aircraft, the VVA-14 was a Soviet wing and ground effect aircraft built in the early 1970s. The VVA-14 was designed to take off from water and fly at high speed just above the water over long distances. Its mission was to skim the surface of the ocean in order to detect and destroy U.S. submarines. 2 prototypes were built, though development was marred by flotation problems, engine issues, and the death of the aircraft's designer. The project was scrapped after 107 flights and 103 flight hours. One example survives today in a dismantled state at the Soviet Central Air Force Museum in Moscow. Surcoff. Representing submarines, the French cruiser submarine Surcoff was built as a loophole in the Washington Naval Treaty. Following World War I, strict limits were placed on the warships of the world's major naval powers like displacement and gun caliber. However, these restrictions were applied to battleships and cruisers, not submarines. Intended to be the lead ship in her class, Surcoff was the only cruiser submarine built by France. Commissioned in 1934, Surcoff was equipped with 10 torpedo tubes, 6 anti-aircraft guns, and 2 8-inch guns, the largest placed on any cruiser submarine. She also featured a hangar that housed an observation floatplane used for gun calibration. Surcoff escaped Nazi capture but sunk in the Caribbean Sea after a collision with an unknown ship in February 1942. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and check out more awesome ones on the Suleimanet channel. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.